Hello, I'm Joe. This is Idles.
What's happening?
Let's give it up for Fontaines D.C.
We're Fontaines D.C.
Idles and Fontaines D.C, two of the most important and integral bands of their generation. And with multiple perfect albums between them, I think it's about time to discuss two of the absolute best bloody bands on the planet. Well, that's my opinion anyway.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Now, this is just a bit of fun. The Idles and Fontaines boys have toured together for absolutely years, and they have massive amounts of respect for each other, so there's certainly no beef there. And as we all know,
I said love is the thing.
Although actually, they did go up against each other at Glastonbury.
We're just devastated we don't get to see them, or they don't get to see us, because they could learn a few things, you know.
It's happening.
Oh!
Yeah, they're shitting themselves.
It's like fucking Blur and Oasis. The comment section's gonna go wild. Fuck yous in advance.
But I wanted to do the definitive rankings for two of my favourite bands ever who have come up together, and I myself want to know who's going to come out on top. So Idles have dropped 5 albums so far, and Fontaines have dropped 4. So let's start at number 9 and jump straight into this. In at number 9, we have Ultra Mono. The weakest Idles album and the weakest album by either band. But Ultra Mono is still a great record. It just couldn't follow the first two borderline perfect Idles classics. Everyone has their opinions, of course, but for me, this is the only one on the list that is not up for debate. It's still a really great record though, and is very much worth a listen. It has some amazing tracks on there such as War, Grounds, setlist staple Mr. Motivator, and Model Village. My only criticism is it's not as good as the other 8 albums on this list, which to be honest, is bloody harsh. Joe and Bowen have made varying statements about how they feel about Ultra Mono, with Bowen going as far to say that the album made them lose the essence of the band, and Joe probably fairly saying that the lack of live music hurt the record as it was dropped during COVID. It's had the least amount of tracks played live from it, for the shortest amount of time, and they made the far superior Crueler album come only a year later, whilst also calling Crueler a reactionary record to Ultra Mono. I personally think it's fair to say that even the Idles boys themselves would probably rank Ultra Mono as their least favourite album. For me, its heavy points just aren't as heavy as what Idles will usually go to, and its softer parts aren't as beautiful as a lot of their other tracks. I honestly really do like Ultra Mono, but it is the record I come back to the least from both bands. I currently sort of see it as the weirdo middle child at this point of Idles' career. You've got 2 genuine classics that came before it, and 2 amazing records which came after it, all of which are superior in far different ways. But again, that doesn't make Ultra Mono a bad album. Please, still go and check it out. So in at number 8, and well, this one's going to be controversial. People are going to give me so much shit for putting A Hero's Death here, but
It's my life. Whatever I wanna do.
you've got to see this as a compliment, because to a lot of people, A Hero's Death is Fontaine's best record. I think it just speaks to the quality of both bands' discography. A Hero's Death is a ridiculously good album, but for me, it's quite simply the weakest Fontaines record. But I do have to shout out some genuinely amazing songs from this album. Televised Mine, the title track, A Lucid Dream, and No, all amazing tracks. I feel like I'm going to say variations of this compliment a lot over the course of this video, but both bands are so good lyrically, but for me, especially Grian. He is a world-class poet and writer. The first 2 Fontaines albums are amazing lyrically, but Skinty and Romance, for me, proved Grian to be a once-in-a-lifetime generational writing talent. I just personally feel the growth between the first 2 Fontaines albums and the most recent 2 is so massive.
Now we're kind of like trying to sort of understand the world we live in right now, and I'm not trying to, you know, think of something that's gone, but to imagine something that's to come.
For me though, while The Hero's Death and Dogrel are great albums, Skinty and Romance, they're Fontaine's real classics. So I have nothing against The Hero's Death. Yet again, I really love this record, but the rawness of Dogrel for me makes it better than A Hero's Death, and well, we're going to get into my love for Skinty and Romance in a minute.
I love you, I love you, I love you.
feel a little bit bad.
Fuck off!
When I put this as Fontaine's worst album, especially when I re-listened to it in preparation for this video, but it just doesn't hold me or move me.
Fuck off! Yes, chef.
Like the rest of the albums that we're going to get to. That's A Hero's Death, in at number 8. Right, so just mega quickly, both bands have had amazing Tiny Desk concerts.
Well, everybody gets a big shine, baby.
Both bands are insane live anyway, but they both absolutely nailed their Tiny Desks. If you haven't seen them, go and watch them now. Please don't hate me, but in at number 7, we have Dogrel. Fontaine's debut and the album that started it all, Dogrel, is such a great, honest, raw album, and it really shows how highly I think of all the other albums on this list, because I can't really think of any criticisms at all. But if you have Dogrel or Hero's Death higher than me, I totally get it. They are incredible albums. They're just not as good as Skinty or Romance for me. And anyway, for most bands, Dogrel would be their undisputed classic, but Fontaines have never rested on their laurels. They've continuously grown and they've continuously changed and adapted their sound. On the recent, currently still ongoing Romance tour, they've been playing very little from the first 2 classic albums, and I think that shows that even the Fontaines boys maybe prefer their newer stuff as well. The steps and growth that they took between A Hero's Death and Skinty took Fontaines from a great band to a truly defining one for me. They are one of the great bands of our time, and they kind of remind me of a modern day The Cure. My favourite tracks from Dogrel are Big, Sha Sha Sha, Hurricane Laughter, Liberty Bell, and Fontaine's first true classic anthem,
The boys in the better land.
I really feel like Fontaine's fans are politely split into 2 groups at this point. Do you prefer the first 2 raw, honest albums, or the more experimental recent 2? I think you already know my position. Everything that I said about A Hero's Death also applies to Dogrel. They're kind of like sister albums in my eyes. They came out only a year apart, and they do have a similar-ish sound. So as usual, still go and listen to Dogrel. I absolutely adore this record. Up the boys in the better land. Idols go slow, idols calm down, call the bloody press. My hat fell off. In at number 6, we have Tangk. Well, it's not quite Idols fully calming down, but this is definitely their most introspective and withheld record, and that is truly not a bad thing. To be honest, I see Tangk as Idol's most controversial and least agreed upon album already, and at this point, it's not even been out a year. Tangk was produced by regular Idols collaborator Kenny Beats, but also Radiohead's resident producer Nigel Godrich, and I think his production and the earlier Kid A Radiohead sound is all over Tangk. Although Tangk is still a relatively new album at the time of making this video, I think out of every single record on this list, it's probably the least immediate, but I also reckon in the years to come, its critical acclaim is going to continue to grow in the eyes of fans and in the eyes of critics, as we unlock more from each and every listen. I think Tangk is going to become Idol's cult classic, the one which maybe wasn't your favourite to start with, but now you can't get enough of. My favourite tracks on this album are Pop 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 and its amazing Danny Brown remix. I feel super lucky that I was at Glasgow when they played that live.
Would you please welcome Danny fucking Brown?
And the amazing Idea 1, which has become their new live opener, mixed with Colossus, and it works so bloody well. But this really is one of those albums that needs to be heard in full to get the most from it, because each track complements each other so much. So the Tangk tour is when I lost my Idol's virginity. I was disgracefully late becoming a fan of theirs, so maybe I am biased towards Tangk, and maybe there's people out there that will think I'm fucking crazy for putting it above A Hero's Death and Dogrel, but I absolutely adore the depth on this record. So Tangk, maybe Idol's most controversial album so far, but I for one absolutely adore it, and I cannot wait to hear what's coming next. It is going to be very exciting. So guys, just mega quickly, I've actually covered Fontaines and Idols before on this channel, so definitely go and check my previous videos on them out. But this does give me a chance to show some of my previous Idols Glastonbury footage again.
Spread out! Let's spread out!
I did a deep dive on that entire Idols Glastonbury set, so go check out that previous Idols video and go check out the Fontaines one while you're at it as well. I'd mega appreciate it, and hit that bloody subscribe button. Right, so now things are getting very, very serious. In at number 5, we have Idols with Crueler. Do I want Weirdo Idols for an entire album? Yes, I want Weirdo Idols for an entire album. Thank you.
Yeah, boy.
So as we mentioned earlier, Crueler is seen as a reactionary record to the relatively poorly received Ultra Mono, and Idols, when they have something to prove, seem to be Idols at their absolute best. Overall, this is probably Idol's most varied album in sound, and their least accessible, but I love it when bands go weird, and basically say fuck you, we're going to make whatever album we want to make, because I always find those albums to be the most interesting. It was definitely a risk, but for me, it was a risk which very much paid off. I feel like Tangk really grew and progressed on the slower elements from Crueler, and although there's been growth on every single Idols album, the difference in sound between Ultra Mono and Crueler, I think, will be seen as a turning point in Idols' career when we look back in the years to come. The guys have even said that Crueler was influenced by Biggie, so I for one cannot wait for the Idols rap album, with collaborations featuring Kendrick and Eminem. I think Joe would very much hold his own.
Oh, can you turn up? Turn my microphone up. Hey, happens every day, B.
Whoa, kitty!
Oh! Wait, so Joe's actually rapped? I was joking. This sounds like it's actually going to be really good. Oh!
When I hold the mic, it's like a butterfly knife. Kenny beats the beat like he's reading my rhymes. Serve and protect each and every baseline. R.I.P. the greatest of all time. Fubu, who do yes, I do the dirty wine. Step out the booth if you can't do the time. Sick of holding lips a brick, take dumb shots. Thought it was the slugs, but it was 5 blood clots. I'll say it again, on top of the pops. And possibly the Nickelback a noise rock. Whoa, Kenny, make the beat stop. The Nickelback lines made me go soft.
Wait. Are you rapping about Nickelback? Come out of the booth. Did you okay this verse?
Yeah.
So you saw these lyrics before he went in?
Yeah, I respect the shit out of them.
We just got very off track. I apologise for my dancing. I'm sorry you had to see that. Let's fucking get back on with this. My favourite tracks on this album are Whiz. That track is borderline grindcore, and I wish it was played at every single show. It's 30 seconds of absolute madness, and not that we needed any more proof, but it shows off John, the drummer, at his absolute fucking best. John might actually be Idol's secret weapon. He's one of the most underrated and talented drummers on the planet at the moment, and he holds together Idol's hectic sound so well on every single track. Whiz is just him showing off, and he bloody deserves to. My other favourites from Crueler are The Wheel, Car Crash, The New Sensation, and The Beachland Ballroom. But yet again, this is a record that rewards being heard in full, which other than Ultra Mono, I do like Ultra Mono, but for me, it's just not as good as the rest, sorry. All of these albums should be heard in full. They are true artists wanting to make music that lasts forever. So in at number 5, there's Crueler. Fairly high on my personal list, but I just love how original it is. And although I'm expecting it to be a kind of outlier in Idles' discography, I do not think that that is a bad thing. I fucking love Crueler. I've got a sneaking suspicion that most people won't have it as high on their list as I have it on mine, but I say up the weirdo Idols. Crueler may be the most underrated album on this entire list. How do you say this first song name? Is it MTT420RR? Botany! Okay, so this is where the list actually genuinely gets really difficult for me. In my opinion, these final 4 albums are all 10 out of 10. They're all genuinely perfect, and I love them all so much. So it honestly is a tough choice on which album goes where. I'm glad I've got to the final 4, and there's 2 albums left from each band, but I don't know which one is going in which spot, man. Right. Okay, 4 albums left. What are they? We have the 2 Fontaines D.C. classics, Skinty Fia and Romance. And then we've got Idles' 2 classics, Brutalism and Joy as an Act of Resistance. Damn, this is so tough.
But am I tough enough? Tough enough? Hell yes, I'm tough enough.
Right. Voting over. It's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link. Brutalism. 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 What the fuck, guys? So in at number 4, we have Idles with Brutalism. The album which started it all for the Idles boys. I think it's putting it lightly to say that Brutalism is it's a brutal fucking listen. Dedicated to Joe's mother after her tragic passing, as well as all of the women in Joe's life, Brutalism is by far the darkest album on this entire list. It's dirty, passionate, raw, political, sad, witty, and fucking vital. And in my opinion, it is one of the best rock albums of this generation. The album is just so blunt, and the political side of it is so important in this modern age. There is not another band writing lyrics like they are. They're simply Joe's truths being spat in your face at 100 miles per hour. The band and Joe are super strong and very upfront about their beliefs, and they're plastered over every single inch of Brutalism. From feminism, the class system, the NHS, and so much more, these are important topics being spoken about, and the Idles boys are happy to say it exactly how they see it. Brutalism is an album that you simply have to hear, and it's an album that we'll be speaking about for years to come. Brutalism is a true, genuine modern classic, and some of my favourite tracks on the album are Mother, Divide and Conquer, Benzocaine, and Slow Savage. And what an amazing closer to the album Slow Savage is. That is one of the best tracks across any of these albums. I can't believe I'm saying this, but if for some reason you're watching this and you haven't yet heard Brutalism, pause my stunning good looks and go and listen to it right now. It's way more important, and I'll still be here when you get back. So that's Brutalism in at number 4. Right, album number 3. I don't fucking know. The album which took Fontaines to the next level, and the album which made them one of the biggest bands on the planet. We have Romance. So I've got a feeling that yet again, people are going to really disagree with me on this one. So get your pitchforks out. Because I think Romance is a far superior album to Dogrel or A Hero's Death, and I do think it's going to be seen as a truly influential album for future bands to come. Possibly the best album of 2024, regardless of genre, and the best pop indie rock album for over a decade, Romance introduced us to the band that was taking Arctic Monkeys' mainstream British rock crown, and Fontaines fucking deserve it. Now, I know that we're a world away from the Liberty Bell.
I heard he owned a place called the Liberty Bell, yeah.
And fair enough, That might be disappointing for some people, but we truly are watching one of the great bands of our time being formed. It would be far easier for Fontaines just to make variations of Dogrel and A Hero's Death and they'd nail it every single time. But these guys would rather mix it up and they'd rather craft something exciting, new, and interesting. And they deserve our ultimate respect for that. Fontaines took on the mainstream in a legitimate and authentic way, and they won.
You won, Jane.
Oh my God.
Enjoy the money. I hope it makes you very happy. Dear Lord, what a sad little life, Jane.
Less than 8 years ago, Fontaines were playing pubs and tiny shows around Ireland. Now, they're playing the biggest shows of their career, they have sellout arena tours, and there are festival headline slots coming around the corner. And a lot of that has to do with the strength of their insane discography, but a lot of it is to do with Romance and its incredible lead single favourite. Fontaines have now proven that they can do it all. Well, until they prove me wrong and take another left turn on album number 5. Fontaines truly are the new Arctics. They have that crown now, and even though it would be the smart thing to do, I can't see album number 5 being an extension of Romance. They could easily make Romance Part 2 and become the biggest rock band in the world, but I think we're going to get something unexpected yet again. Fontaines are the real deal. They are goats, and I love Romance. Some of my favourite tracks on this album are Starburster, Desire, In the Modern World, Sundowner, and the landmark generational hit favourite. Can you tell I really like that song? We are listening to future Glastonbury headliners, and I think the best band in the world at the moment. So that's Romance in at number 3. Maybe too high for some people, and maybe a little bit controversial, but for me, this album could end up going even higher in the years to come. So just 2 albums left now, guys. Skinty or Joy. Which one is it going to be? Let me know in the comments which one your favourite is, but I do not know which one I'm going to go for. This is just such a tough fucking choice. I love both albums so much. Right. In at number 2, drum roll please. Alright, I don't have the budget for a drum roll yet. But in at number 2, we have Skinty Fia.
Don't forget who you are, Skinty Fia.
No, for real this time. How the fuck do you say that? What? Inocrofty Gil.
It's called Inar Griha Gajo.
Thanks for clearing that up, Grian. So while I may not be able to say the song name, in my opinion, it is Fontaines' best track they have ever done, and it could be the single best song on any of these 9 albums. It sets the scene for the new darker sound so perfectly, and it's haunting, exciting, and immediately lets you know that you're listening to something very special. And boy, is Skinty fucking special. I'm not sure that Fontaines will ever be able to top this. Skinty is in my top 5 albums of the last 5 years. It is truly an incredible album. I went back and forth so much on first and second place on this list. Today, it was Joy. Tomorrow, it could be Skinty. And I even considered putting them in joint first. But that seemed like a bit of a cop-out, to be honest. For me personally, the only reason that Skinty isn't number 1 is because I don't really like the couple across the way too much. And people may hate me for saying that, and I am most definitely in the minority there. But I do love and appreciate Fontaines for being experimental and making a track purely based upon their Irish roots.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
The final 3 tracks on Skinty are the absolute best run of Fontaines' career so far, with Skinty, I Love You, and Nabokov. Why can't I speak? Why can't I say words? Why can I not say any word? And those 3 tracks are absolute art, with Nabokov being the heaviest song of Fontaines' entire career so far, and I absolutely love it. I really want them to go down that heavier, weirder route. I mean, imagine a Fontaines album inspired by something like Queens of the Stone Age, and I can actually see it happening. Even with the more recent mainstream romance sound, I do think we have a heavier Fontaines album en route somewhere in the future, which if it sounds anything like Nabokov, is going to be something to really look forward to. Fontaines D.C. are going to stadiums, and they're going to be one of the biggest bands in the world. I reckon they're going to crack America next, and there is no doubt in my mind that they absolutely deserve it. Some of you guys may not want to see Fontaines in the stadiums, but I think that's where they're heading to. Skinty is just so full of depth, and it's an album that you unlock more of on every single listen. I heard this album years ago, and I'm still unlocking stuff now. Fontaines and Idles are at the forefront of British rock music, and while Idles are heavier and they have a really strong cult fan base which will never die, Fontaines are going to keep growing and they're going to keep gaining new legions of fans worldwide. I see Grammys, Coachella, Glastonbury headline slots, and Green may be dating J-Lo in the future. I'm still Jenny from the back. Skinty is just one of those albums. I remember where I was when I first heard it, and I still listen to it regularly now, and it's going to be a staple of my collection for the rest of my life. I've already named a bunch of my favourite tracks, especially the first one, and I'm not trying to say it again, piss off.
It's called In Our Griha Joe.
Thanks for clearing that up again, Grian. But there's also How Cold Love Is, Jackie Down the Line, Roman Holiday, and as I said, the final 3 songs are my favourite on Fontaines' entire catalogue. But every single track, excluding the couple across the way, is absolutely world class. I mean, oh, for fuck's sake, maybe Skinty should be first. I'm remaking a video. No, I'm not. I stand by my decision. Right, that was Skinty Fia in at number 2. Finally, we got there. So, the best album by either band and one of my favourite albums ever made. In at number 1, we have Joy is an Act of Resistance. Well done! What is the best opening song on any of these albums? What's the best closing song on any of these albums? What's the most emotional song on any of these albums? That one's June, and we're going to talk more about that one in a second. What's the best song played live from any of these albums? There's a snake in my boot! That was me crowd surfing during Rottweiler, so Rottweiler is the best live song, and Joy is a perfect album, and I might just end the video there. If I have to be harsh and downrank Skinty for my personal opinion on the couple across the way, then I have to do the same for Joy. But I can't. There aren't any tracks that I want to downrank. It truly is a 10 out of 10 album from top to bottom. It's perfect, I tells ya! Every single song is still played live regularly except June. That track's actually never been played live, as it's far too personal to Joe, but fair play to the guys for still actually making the track. It's stunning, honest, emotional and raw, and shows male pain in a harsh but true way. I personally don't think the guys will ever play that track live, but that's totally understandable, even if it is a highlight of the album. My personal favourite tracks are Colossus, Never Fight a Man with a Perm, I'm Scum, Danny Nedelko, Love Song, June, Samaritans, Television, Great, Gram Rock, Cry to Me, and Rottweiler. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, I have the track list in front of me. There's no way I was going to remember all that. I truly have run out of things to say. I've tried writing as much as I can for Joy is an Act of Resistance, but it truly stands on its own. A testament to brilliant musicianship and 5 guys coming together and creating the best music that they can. I love Joy is an Act of Resistance. It's one of my favourite albums of all time. And I promise, I'm not trying to cop out here and just think of some shitty outro to get this over and done with. I didn't know what else to write. I love the album. It's perfect. If you haven't heard it, go and listen to it. Why would you be watching if you haven't heard it? But please guys, from the heart, Go and listen to Joy as an Act of Resistance. It is one of my favourite albums of all time. I also just wanted to shout out the Facebook groups that represent Idles and Fontaines. They are amazing communities to represent both bands so well. You can go there and talk about music and talk about whatever you need to talk about. I fucking love those pages. I go on them all the time myself. So go check them out if you get the chance. But if you got to the end of this video, thank you so much, guys. We are 30 minutes deep now. I would appreciate it if you liked the video and you subscribe to the channel. But to be honest, sitting through this for 30 minutes of me trying to tell poor jokes, that's enough for me. Thank you so much. At one point, I spliced my fucking face on Aaron Robinson's face. What was I doing? All I want to do is talk about Idles and Fontaines DC, two of my favourite bands of all time. But I'm blabbling now. Thank you so much, guys. I'm going to be moving on to these more long-length videos, which will come slightly less regularly, but they'll be better quality and more in depth. I'll keep focusing on my editing skills and getting the channel as good as we can be. Any feedback you guys have, please shoot me a comment, please shoot me a message. Thank you so much. I'm going to stop talking now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care, guys. Have a good one. Yes, Mum, I finished the Idles and Fontaines video. Yes, I'm moving on to something else now. Yeah, I just wanted to get it right. It took ages. No, Ultramono's not first. It's last. It's the worst album. It's the worst album. Voting over. It's time to reveal who you think is the weakest link. For real now. I'll see you later. Thanks for watching.